Crown Jewel from Perth, Australia is quickly approaching, so it is time for yet another PLE preview. If you're unfamiliar with how a PLE preview video works on this channel, it's a really simple concept. We take a look at the upcoming WWE PLE match card, and I give my thoughts and opinions on who I think is going to win, who I think is going to lose, and where the stories could go from here. So when I take a look at Crown Jewel, I think a lot of people weren't expecting a whole lot given what we got last year. Last year's Crown Jewel show was fine, but there was no big, memorable moments that really happened. And I think a lot of people, including myself, were really not on board with the whole Crown Jewel Championship idea. And I'm sure a lot of people forgot about the Crown Jewel Championships because WWE has done pretty much nothing with them up to this point. So I'm genuinely curious to see what WWE has to offer for this year's Crown Jewel. And I'm really curious to see the differences between the crowds. Last year's show, obviously held in Saudi Arabia. This year's in Perth, Australia. And as we know from Elimination Chamber a couple years ago, Australia had a really good crowd. So I am excited for the show. The match card looks promising, but I really am just curious to see if they are going to do anything different regarding the Crown Jewel Championships. And real quickly, before we get too far ahead in the video, I want to say that if you are a WWE fan, consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. That is all we post is WWE related content. So if you're a WWE fan, again, consider subscribing. It's free. You can always change your mind later. Now, enough of me yapping, let's get on to the match card for Crown Jewel 2025. Now, something that I always like to mention when I do a PLE preview video is my match card is probably not going to be in order from what we get on the show. And at the time I'm recording this, we still have yet to see Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, so most likely, considering there's only 4 matches on this card as of right now, I'm assuming that there's going to be at least 1 or 2 more matches added to this card. But taking a look at the match card that I have, we are going to start off by talking about the women's tag team match between the Kabuki Warriors taking on the team of Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. And this whole story has been just really fun in a bizarre, weird way. Because there's times where it's felt like a genuinely good story, and then there's other times where it feels like I'm watching a kid's drama show. But it's that perfect little blend of goofy and cheesy mixed in with actually, serious topics. So I'm genuinely loving this storyline, and I'm genuinely just curious to see how all the dynamics come together in this match. And one thing that I do think should be mentioned is how good this feud has been for the Kabuki Warriors. We've got Asuka looking like $1,000 right now, looking like the Asuka of old, and then you've got Kairi Sane, who's kind of in the middle of this storyline, and she's slowly started to win the crowd over, and now it's starting to seem like once the Kabuki Warriors get done with this heel run, Kairi Sane could be set up for a massive babyface push. So depending on how WWE plays their cards with all of that, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. And when you're taking a look at this match, it's going to be a fantastic match. And as for who's going to win, I think the answer is pretty dang simple. They're going to go with 2 of the biggest stars the WWE has to offer in the women's division in Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. And I can guarantee you that they are not going to have Rhea Ripley lose at home in Australia. And that is why I picked Io Sky and Rhea Ripley to win at Crown Jewel. Moving on to John Cena versus AJ Styles, a match that we are finally getting, a match that we have been waiting for since John Cena's retirement tour officially kicked off. And I feel like we always knew that we were going to get this match, but as time went on, it kind of felt like we were just never going to get it. And in a weird twist, it took John Cena and AJ Styles going to X and making this match kind of happen themselves. Obviously, they played into the WWE Universe wanting this match, which of course we all do, but let's be honest here. This was John Cena and AJ Styles telling WWE, we want this match to happen. And here's the thing with this match. there's not a real story to build off of here, but there doesn't need to be, because the history between Cena and Styles speaks for itself. You're going to sit back and watch Crown Jewel, and you're going to watch this match, and you're going to remember all the amazing matches that these two have had throughout their careers. And obviously, we know that John Cena is officially retiring at the end of 2025, and we don't know how much longer we have of AJ Styles in the WWE. Now, who I think is going to win, I'm going to end up picking John Cena. And I made this pick because of a couple different things. One, obviously being AJ Styles is a little preoccupied with the whole El Grande Americano situation and whatever that story has going on. But when I take a look at John Cena and I take a look at how horrible the WrestlePalooza match with Brock Lesnar was, I have a hard time seeing John Cena losing back-to-back PLEs this close to the very end of his retirement tour. So I think this match should be good. I think a lot of it is going to be nostalgia, and we know how powerful of a drug nostalgia really is. And just taking a look at everything that has happened up to this point, the whole conversation on X, and knowing that these two are at the tail ends of their careers, I'm really excited to see this match. Moving on to the Women's Crown Jewel Championship match between Stephanie Valkyr and Tiffany Stratton. And the most recent video that I posted on this channel talked about these two matches, the Women's Crown Jewel Championship match and the Men's Crown Jewel Championship match. And I asked the question of, did WWE make the right decision in having the two finalists fight for the Crown Jewel Championships? And in that video, I talked about this match really not having a strong build necessarily. Not saying that it's been terrible, but there just really hasn't been a whole lot to go off of. And it really started to feel like the Men's Crown Jewel Championship match from last year between Cody Rhodes and Gunther, where there just really wasn't any story to go off of. That's kind of what it feels like coming in to this match. But ultimately, I think that this match is going to be great. We know how good both of these superstars are. That is no secret. And what lies ahead, I don't really know. Because I still just don't get the feeling that Tiffany Stratton is entirely done with the whole Jade Cargill, Nia Jax story. And now you've got Julia and Kiana James in the mix, so I'm really not sure where the story could go from here for either one. But I am going to end up picking Stephanie Valkyr. And I am going to pick Stephanie Valkyr because I think the iron is simply too hot right now. She is seemingly on the top of the world in the women's division right now, and I don't think WWE is going to let that go. Kind of similar to what we saw with Tiffany Stratton before she won Money in the Bank, where we knew that Tiffany Stratton was so red hot going into Money in the Bank that it was almost a foregone conclusion that she was going to win. This, to me, feels like this could be another stepping stone into making Stephanie Valkyr into an absolute megastar, even more so than she already is. And with Stephanie Valkyr winning, you could set up a future feud with Liv Morgan, who obviously won last year's Women's Crown Jewel Championship, and then you could actually build a story from this championship and not just have it be thrown to the back burner and never talked about until next year's Crown Jewel show. So that is my thought and my hope for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship this year. I hope we get something to build off of this championship. And as for Stephanie winning, look, I am a massive Tiffany Stratton fan, but I think the iron is just way too hot with Stephanie Valkyr right now. And that takes us to the Men's Crown Jewel Championship match between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And kind of similar to what I talked about with AJ Styles and John Cena, how the history between those two is essentially the story moving forward into this match. The same, I think, can be said for Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Obviously, we know the history between these two. We know how good their matches have been against each other. Now, the one thing, in my opinion, that I think would sour this match is if the Vision gets involved. Because I think for this match to work, I think it needs to be done between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Just like their first match was, just like their second match was, it has to be done between the two of them. Now, as for who I think wins, I'm going to be completely honest with you, I don't know, because I could see either guy winning this thing. Because on one hand, you have Cody Rhodes, who is the top of the top, the face of the entire company. And then on the other side, you've got Seth Rollins, who claims to be with the likes of Cody Rhodes, with the likes of Roman Reigns. And if he is truly in the same company as those guys that I just mentioned, he needs to win this match. Obviously, yes, he had his big moments at WrestleMania and at SummerSlam, but coming off of a loss to CM Punk, I think Seth Rollins could use the win a little bit more. So after a lot of going back and forth, I think it's going to end up being Seth Rollins winning. So this is where I want to hear from you guys. What have you thought about Crown Jewel 2025? Are you excited for the show? Or are you not excited for the show? Let me know why you are or aren't. And let me know what you guys think about my predictions down below in the comments. And don't forget to let me know what your guys' predictions are for the show. And while you're down in the comments, swing by the description and click the Linktree link. That is the only link in bio for a reason, and that is because it will take you to all of the social media platforms for this channel. And I do suggest going and checking out our X page. Besides YouTube, I am most active over on X. We do updates for Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and the PLEs. And above all else, I want the X page to be a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling, especially if you're like me and you don't have a lot of people to talk to about wrestling. So if you are like me and you're looking for a group of wrestling fans to talk about wrestling with, swing by an upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, obviously Crown Jewel coming up this weekend. Join in on the conversation, and maybe it's for you at the end of the day. And another place that you can go and find us on is TikTok. I finally got around to making a TikTok page. Right now, since we are very early into that page's existence, the only content that really takes place over there is just clips from these videos, and it's just another place for me to post when I upload a video to YouTube. But as time goes on, obviously there will be other WWE-related content that takes place over on TikTok. So if you're scrolling on your phone and you come across one of those videos, drop a like, drop a follow, show it some love. Really trying to grow that page a lot. With all that said and done, that is going to do it for this video here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. Both are free. Both really, really help out the channel a lot. And of course, if you have made it to this point of the video, I want to say thank you very, very much for taking the time out of your busy day to watch these videos here, because it genuinely means the world to me. And as always, stay tuned for more WWE content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.